You told me before we got on your on the email that you've gotten the shit kicked out of you. You keep coming back and fighting and doing better and better.
You want to start off with that?
Yes.
All right. So how I've gotten the shit kicked out of me and come back and keep getting better. Well, started at a young age. I grew up in Minneapolis. I'm going to give you a 2-minute version of this. I grew up in Minneapolis, and at the age of 10, my father got arrested. He was this amazing, charismatic, incredible businessman. Owned a company called Northern Aluminum, committed a white-collar crime, apparently. Lost everything when I was in 5th grade. It was all over the newspapers. So every kid at school knew, which was amazing. And that was my first introduction to being massively embarrassed and feeling incredible shame and blah, blah. Watched him lose everything. When I was in 8th grade, he got convicted, went to jail. And then 6 months later, they called us and they said he's got 2 years to live. He was 41 years old. We got him out of jail 3 months later. And within 2 weeks, I saw him dead on the floor at my grandparents' house. That was the first real smack in the face, when you're smacked in the face in life. The beautiful part about it was, I got a lot from him. And I learned a lot. And football saved my life. Football was the thing that, when I was in 5th grade, I was bigger than everybody. So I gained this massive confidence. And when everybody shot up and got bigger than me, I'm 5'11", 180 pounds. But when everyone got bigger than me, I already had the confidence and the belief. Okay. And when we're talking to real estate agents that are out there getting the shit beat out of them or getting beat up, you need to understand you have to condition your mind. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your service and who you are. So football gave me that belief and that confidence when I was, after I lost my father, I was utilizing things not so healthy, drinking, drugs, things like that to get through that. But I was the football star in high school that you could also get a bag of weed from. So you can edit that out if you want, but that's the truth.
I'm going to have to, or YouTube will strike our video.
Oh, God. Okay. I'll do it again.
No, you're all good. I'm just messing with you. Are you stressed out juggling? Oh, shoot, I really can't juggle. Now my dog's gonna grab all of it. Okay, listen, this video is brought to you by All-Star VAs. Are you stressed out juggling your calendar, your email, all of the tasks you have to do, plus your personal life, which doesn't leave you any time to actually do the stuff that you got into real estate to do, like going on client appointments, negotiating deals, all the fun stuff. Look, if that's you, I have a solution for you. My team of all-star virtual assistants helps me do all of those things so that I can do the stuff that I love doing. And we can install an all-star virtual assistant for you in your business, whether that's an executive assistant, a social media manager to blow up all your accounts, a marketing manager, an inside sales associate, a customer care manager, and plenty of other positions starting as low as $4 an hour. All you got to do is go to allstarvas.com, book a call with our team. We'll tell you all about the program and see if it's a fit for you. All right, back to the video.
I was brought up, I had this incredible challenge in my life, but I also had this incredible belief and something that God put in my heart when I was young that I knew I was created to make a difference in the world. And they brought me up when I was a sophomore, from the sophomore team to the varsity team in football. I thought I was going to get put down immediately, but I said, while I'm here, I'm gonna crank. And so I did. Ended up starting every game that year. We almost won the state championship. The following year, I was voted the first ever junior captain at that high school. The next year, we almost won state again. I was the senior captain. I ran that team. But the reason I'm telling you this is not to brag. The reason I'm telling you this is because after we lost the game in Elk River in Minneapolis, my senior year, football was my life. I was bawling in the locker room, in this little dark part of the locker room. All the other guys were showering, joking, goofing around. I was heartbroken. And I remember being in that dark area, bawling my eyes out, and my football coach came up to me, found me, and he said, "Chad, you have nothing to be sad about. You're one of the greatest leaders I've ever seen walk the halls of this high school." And whether or not that was true, it doesn't matter. I learned the power of our words and how they can encourage and lift other people up and change their lives. And so I took that in my heart. I still think about it every day. Then at the age of 21, I had some severe challenges. And then 22, I moved down to Austin, Texas for a girl. That's where I live now. That's where I sell real estate. If you need to buy or sell in Austin, Texas, or you have a referral, send it my way. And I got engaged to this girl, and we bought our first home. And I was a bartender and a college dropout. I was looking for a way out. I was 23, decided to get my real estate license, and got into the business. 6 months in, I had my first listing. It was a broken down mobile home. Not very successful. And then I met a gentleman on a property tour, which if you're an agent out there and you want some advice, here it is. Study, learn, and understand the market better than anyone on the planet. Know the numbers, know the actives, the pendings, the solds, know the neighborhoods, study and learn. Like, do not be a typical, traditional, average real estate agent. Like, I put them over there all the time because I wanted to be legendary, because I believe what we do is important. So meet this guy on a property tour. He's in the back of my car. He's on his phone the whole time. This is 1997. Okay. And I was sitting there going, I want to be as busy as that guy. At the end of the tour, he got out of the car. He came up to my window and he said, "Hey, man, I'm looking for a buyer's agent." I said, "Good luck." I had no idea who he was or what he was talking about. A month later, I'm listening to a Mike Ferry cassette tape. Yes, I'm 52. And he was talking about buyer's agency. I went to my office. I looked down. There's a magazine. Guess who's on the cover? That guy. That night, I'm at Trudy's working behind the bar. I did not call him like I thought I was going to. Guess who comes walking into the bar? James. And he changed my life. He gave me a book called 30 Days to Success as a Buyer's Agent. He said, no agent that's ever worked for me has completed this, and I've given it to them all. And none of them worked for me anymore. And the gauntlet was thrown down. I started waking up at 6 a.m. That book had between 10 to 30 exercises I had to do every single day. The first thing I had to do was repeat out loud 25 affirmations 4 times. I'm the best at what I do. I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I'm a master salesperson, et cetera, et cetera. Then I had to write in a notebook 25 times every single day. I will enjoy success through selling 4 homes per month every day for 30 days. I found that notebook recently. Then I had to visualize myself receiving checks, showing homes, and being successful. And I didn't know why I was doing it. But at the end of 30 days, 23 years old, sold my first home, closed on it July 30th, 1997, and never looked back. And if I can give you one more bit of advice out there is I revolutionized my thinking, and that revolutionized my life. People will, and 9 years later, I was the number 1 agent on the planet for Keller Williams Realty out of 100,000 agents. I was number 42 on the planet, ranked by the Wall Street Journal. And I do not tell you that to brag. I tell you that because, like I said, I revolutionized my thinking, and that revolutionized my life. People would ask me, how do you do it? And I would tell them the same thing I'll tell you right now: massively positive freaking energy and an incredible attitude. And that's the truth. But back to the ass kicking. I leave Keller Williams in 08. In 09, I launched Goldwasser Real Estate. I'm going to become the next Tony Robbins, John Maxwell, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, Tom Ferry. And I'm going to build the next Keller Williams. And in October of 09, my wife and I were on a vacation, and she's looking at her email. I said, "What are you looking at?" She said, "Checks." I said, "I love checks." She said, "You're not going to like these." I've been telling my CEO and my chief operating officer, her, for 2.5 years, I do not trust our controller. We're making millions, and I'm getting calls from creditors. And she'd been stealing money from me for 3 years, as I suspected, stole over $500,000 and did not pay my payroll taxes. So I had a $300,000 tax bill. That was 2009. October of 09, January of 2010, 3 months later, my top agent comes to me. I had 120 agents at the time. She says, I'm leaving because of the embezzlement and some things that happened. And within 6 months, 90% of my agents had left my company. And in the midst of that, in May of 2010, the woman I met when I was 11, started dating when I was 13, married when I was 23, had 3 children with, and built a company with, told me she didn't want to be married anymore. So 1, 2, 3, punch. But there's more. You asked for, I told you I'd take 2 minutes. That was like 10.
Chad, this is great. By the way, so I'm so sorry about your dad. I mean, this is a very powerful story.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you. You know, the way I look at it, and if you're out there listening to this podcast, the way I would look at your life, I don't regret anything. I don't feel that anything that has happened to me has been nothing but great, because it's made me who I am right now. I'm 52. I've been selling real estate for 28 years, and my life is about to rocket launch. And what I did in the past is going to be eclipsed by 1,000,000 miles by what I'm about to do. And everything that God put me through, the loss of my father, all those things was preparing me for this moment. And I just look at it as a lesson, you know. It's a smack in the face sometimes. Losing my father taught me death is part of life. Losing money taught me watch every dollar. Trust people, but check on them. Losing my wife made me become a better man. There's so many other things. It's all been a lesson. And, you know, my buddy, when I was about 25 and I started speaking, and then Gary asked me to start speaking around the country, and I developed a passion for speaking and teaching and motivating and inspiring and moving an audience to transcend and transform the way they thought, just like I had learned. And my buddy, probably about 2007, he goes, hey man, he goes, you need to open the kimono. That's a Japanese thing. He said, people are not going to relate to the kid that grew up, had a great childhood, was the captain of the football team, got into real estate, became #1 in the world, married his high school sweetheart, but the guy that lost his father when he was a kid, whose father went to jail, who struggled with addiction, who went through divorce, who lost money, who came through that and grew and got better, you're going to be able to impact other people. And so I just would suggest anyone out there, if you're considering quitting real estate because it's too hard, step up your game, learn more, and start dedicating yourself to the daily activities that will lead to your success, which is what my boy Danny here is teaching you about on this podcast, on this channel. And I applaud you for that, brother. I mean, I love it. I love your mission. I love what you're doing, and I'll help you any way that I can.
Well, thanks, Chad. I appreciate it. Well, you're making my job easy. I don't have to ask you too many questions, because you gave us such a powerful story. So then walk us through kind of after that, to the present. I'd love to hear kind of what you've been up to since then, and what you're doing now and focused on.
Awesome. So 2010, wife divorces me, all that stuff happens. 2011, I sink into a depression. I'm out speaking around the country about the power of positivity and the power of revolutionize your thinking. I couldn't get out of bed for almost a year. I was depressed. My 3 children really helped me to stay alive, because I really didn't want to live. And I snapped out of it in 2012, and I started like getting clarity. And then in 2013, I met a woman and I fell in love. And about a month into it, she was like, man, I would love to see you sober sometime. And so I was like, yeah, me too. And so I started focusing on being healthy and getting sober, and just, and I had this clarity. And this woman, there's a lot to it, but I was still working with my ex-wife in 2013. She was still the chief operating officer of my company. I was working with the CEO that had gotten me the money. So anyway, I fell in love with this girl. A month after I start getting clarity, I haven't had a drink, I feel just this massive clarity. A client of mine comes in and he sits down and he says, hey man, so with the change of the name of your company, what are you gonna change the sign? I said, Goldwasser Real Estate, the change of the name of my company? What are you talking about? Greg and Tara, my CEO and my chief operating officer, my former wife, and the gentleman I brought in the business in 2005 and helped change his life, had decided behind my back that they were going to change the name of my company without telling me. That was wild. But anyway, I had started filming a television show. They said, we want to call it Pure Gold. In 2013, November, I walked into my office at Goldwasser Real Estate, sat Greg and Tara down and told them I love them, but I was going to be leaving. And I launched the television show was going to be called Pure Gold. So I said, I'll call it Pure Gold Realty. And I launched Pure Gold Realty. And then I built that for 10 years, struggled, went up, went down, went up. And around the same time, this is a funny story for you, Danny, 2013, I'm launching Pure Gold Realty. I get a call from a guy. Hey, Chad, I am building a new company and I know who you are. I've seen you. You probably don't know me yet, but my name's Glenn Sanford and I would love you to come and join my company, EXP. I said no. Now Glenn's a billionaire. I would have been one of his first agents, but God's timing, right? So anyway, built Pure Gold Realty, went through struggles, went through amazing stuff. And now I joined EXP, one of the greatest companies on the planet, because I also have a mission to raise the level of agents in the industry. I dedicated my life to this, Danny. I never wanted to be good. I never wanted to be great. I wanted to be legendary. I wanted to be the best there ever was, because what we do is important. And people are out there right now that are hiring agents that are costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they think, oh, they're going to give me a 1% discount. And they're losing hundreds of thousands of dollars for their clients because they don't know what they're doing. And it's not their fault in some cases. They're not being trained right. They don't understand what it takes to be great. And they don't understand what you can do as an agent to truly represent and create an experience for your clients that not only gets them the best price, but makes them walk away and think, I got to refer everyone on the planet to this guy. So right now I am building a online video course company. I'm speaking and teaching. I joined EXP 8 months ago. I am going to build a global organization. The same vision I had of being the next great speaker, teacher, motivator on the planet, and then building real estate agents around the country and around the world. I'm able to do that in EXP now. And, I told Gene, Frederick, and Brent at Cabo last year, Gene came up and he's like, what is your goal? And I said, 100,000 agents within 5 years. I am going to bring agents that are teachers and trainers, utilize the skills, the systems, and the things that I'm utilizing to build my coaching business, to help them build coaching businesses, to attract agents, just like you're going to do with your stuff, Danny. And I'm going to teach the things that absolutely changed my life, not only the thinking, but the systems, because everything I do is a system. And if you're out there right now and you're thinking about your real estate business, create systematic ways to build your company and build your business. So anyway, I'll shut up and let you ask a question.
No, Chad, this is unbelievable. I mean, I so appreciate you sharing your story. I think you're right. I mean, when you share those personal stories, that's what really resonates and connects. The person that's never had any struggles and no challenges, there's no real teeth to that. So I think
also what I think it shows is anybody can do this. Anybody can reach massive success, whether, there's so many stories of it, but whether you were abandoned as a child, you were adopted, there are so many excuses people use, so many reasons they give themselves why they can't be successful. We need to change that. We need to change the way we think, the way we talk to ourselves, the conversations we have in our head, the way we see ourselves, and And that is all possible. It's possible for anybody, no matter what you've been through.
Yeah, Chad, I couldn't agree more. And by the way, I have no doubt that you're going to hit your goals. I mean, with your positive attitude and what you're doing, I think you'll definitely get there. So did Glenn plug you right in to the top of the organization as if you would have joined originally?
Well, in 2004, I ran into this great old crazy ass jolly old fellow in Lawton, Oklahoma named Brent Gove. I was headed to hang out with a guy named Jay Kinder when we were young kids, and Jay and I were both on radio with a guy named Matt Wagner. Brent Gove was there. I met him in the airport. He's like, Chad, hey man, you know, he's just like he is now. And we became great friends. We've been friends for, 20 years. Gene Frederick and I, he was at KW. He's one of my great friends too. I just talked to him yesterday. Jay Kinder, Al Stasic, Mike Reese. I mean, all of these people are people that know who I am, and we've been friends for a long time. And so, yeah, Leo, amazing. When I was joining, Leo called me, and I said, great to meet you, man. He goes, Chad. He goes, I don't think you remember this, but I know you. He said, when I was 27 years old, you were number one in the world for KW. I had just joined them a year earlier. We were doing mega camp in Austin, and you invited everyone to come to your office. And there was about 100 of us, and you took us on a tour of your office, and then you spoke to us for an hour. And, I'll never forget how kind you were to me and awesome. There's another thing for you. Be kind to others in the business, share your ideas, and love people. But Leo goes, yeah, I was at your office, man. I'm like, no way. And he said, yeah, you were amazing. And 4 years later, I was the number one agent in the world. He was number one for KW. And that had nothing to do with me. Believe me, that's not what I'm saying. It was just cool to, and those guys aren't doing anything for me. They're not here like, Chad, do this, do this. They do things for me, which is they believe in me, they love me, they talk to me, but it's up to you in your business to wake up each day and make things happen. Danny's doing this with this podcast, but I have an affirmation, 28 years later, Danny, guess what I do every single day? Drive positive thoughts into my mind every day. And I have one affirmation that I've been utilizing for about 25 years, and it's this. And if you're out there and you're taking notes, I would write this one down. I accomplish my biggest dreams by working daily on my littlest goals. Success does not happen like in a year, in 2 years, Danny. People are going to be like, holy shit, that guy is like an overnight success. He's got millions of followers. He's all over. He's speaking in Dubai. And they're going to be like, oh my God, they don't see the 28 years I've put into the little intricacies of the way I think, the way you shine your shoes, the smell of your breath. The devil is in the details. The success is in the consistent hard work. So
100%, Chad. I couldn't agree with you more. This is, I'm going to use your phrase here. This is pure gold.
Thanks, bro.
I love it.
I was excited to be part of this. My buddy, I was on the phone with him this morning. I was telling him about it. He's like, dude, we need to get you in front of more people. And I want that. I used to want it. I used to walk off stage and people would be like, oh my God,
right,
you're so amazing. And I'd be like, no. Because I didn't feel worthy. I didn't, I had these doubts. I had this fear. I had this saying, even number one in the world. I had this, Now there is no doubt. There is no fear. Well, there still is. This is my affirmation. But there is no doubt. There is no fear. I know what I'm teaching will change people's lives. And I know it'll do it all over this world. And so I am not holding back anymore.
I love it, Chad, man. That is fantastic. Let me ask you specifically. So, obviously in real estate, key activity, which I tell agents every day, is you got to go, you got to get clients or have a system of client attraction. You talked about systems a lot. If we can dive, specifically, what would you recommend to, an agent, maybe a new agent or someone trying to build their business? How do they get clients? Because I hear every day, I don't have enough clients. What do they do?
Okay. So you're a new agent. You're a brand new agent. I'll tell you one thing right now. Do open houses. Okay. 28 years into my business. Guess what I was doing Saturday? Open house. I am a speaker. I am a teacher. I am a top agent. I still do the things to build my business every single day. And open houses will change your life. I had a beautiful story. Gentleman that's going to join my organization soon. His name is Al. He is a teacher at Barry's. Barry's is a workout place. One of my agents, Emmeline, said, you got to come meet this guy. He's dying to meet you. He just got his real estate license. I've been telling him about you. Come do a workout. We went and did a workout. I met with him. I started teaching and training him. He's not with our organization yet, but the number one thing I taught him was do open houses. He came and shadowed me on an open house. In an open house, we use stun. We use the 7-point conversion method. We use massive market knowledge. And to learn more about those things, come to one of my seminars, go to my site, whatever. But he learned those things. And then he started doing open houses. And I'll tell you this. Don't do one open house and come to me and tell me they don't work. Do 1,000. Learn the ways to do a great open house and you will make millions. Al started doing open houses every week and I met him 3 months ago. 3 months ago I met him at Barry's. Started teaching, training him. Came and watched me. Started mimicking the things that I was teaching him. Calls me last Sunday. He goes, Chad, you're not going to believe this. He said, I've been doing open houses. Listen to this. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So for those of you out there that want the easy way, do an open house on a Saturday once a month. For those of you that want to be legendary, do 4 per weekend for the next year and your business will change. He said, I'm sitting at my Sunday open house after 3 days open house. I didn't want to do it. Nobody came through. 4:30. Guy walks in the door with his wife and his beautiful little daughter. He goes, oh my God, Al? And Al's like, he goes, do you remember me? I lived in the Bay Area with you. I played soccer with you. Al was like, oh my God. He was ready. He knew all the market knowledge. Within 5 minutes, the woman goes, can you be our agent? Just signed a deal with them last Monday. Listen to this. $3.5 million. That's $105,000 commission. That's his first sale. Open house. So out there, do open houses. Work your sphere of influence. Network. Don't network at BNI. Don't network at these. Go to Toastmasters. Go to running groups. Go to technology stuff. I have what I call the lead gen wheel. Okay. Gary Keller told me when I was #1 in the world, we were talking one day and he goes, Chad, every day you wake up, you think about one thing. Where is your business coming from? Lead generation. If you're out there right now, write this down. Danny said it. Lead generation is the #1 job of a real estate agent. And so the wheel is a thing I came up with in 2004 on a mountain bike in Moab, Utah, where my wheel was pounding against. And I'm like, what makes this strong? I looked at the hub. I looked at I said, oh, it's the spokes. The spokes keep the tire from collapsing. And I thought, what keeps my business from collapsing? What are the spokes? Lead generation. And I came up with the lead gen wheel. So if you'll draw a wheel on the paper in front of you and put spokes in it, next to one spoke, I want you to write SOI. Next to another, I want you to write open houses. Next to another, I want you to write social media. I want you to write networking. I want you to write builder move ups. I want you to write for sub owners, expired listings, TV, radio. Okay. The lead gen wheel. And we're just going to take one spoke right now. I took that spoke and I said, sphere of influence. What am I doing for my sphere of influence to make sure everyone I know knows I'm in real estate? And I said, okay, I'm making phone calls. I am writing personal notes. Write this down. Write personal notes. I'm taking them to coffee. I'm taking them to concerts. I'm sending out a monthly newsletter. I'm putting on a client appreciation book. And I wrote down all the things that I was doing. And I said, am I maximizing this spoke? And then I said, okay, open houses. And I did the same thing there. And I did the same thing all around. So what you do is, if you're a new agent, or if you're an agent that's doing 100 million and wants to go to 200 or 500 million, start looking at the different areas you're focusing on, and then start seeing, am I mastering this area? Does everyone in my sphere of influence know that I'm in the real estate business? Does everyone that walks through my open houses do business with me? Does everyone in my farm know who I am? Like, farming changed my life. But then take your lead gen wheel, put it into a business plan, set your goal. I want to do 100 million in sales. I want my average price to be $1 million. Determine how many that is, and then take SOI and say, in my SOI, and then you create the affirmation, which is, I am contacting 30 clients per week. I am writing 10 personal notes per week. I am going on 4 SOI coffees per week. I am doing rock and restock and inviting all my clients. I am buying tickets to concerts 4 times a month and inviting my clients. This is a good one. If you're into music, I am. Grateful Dead, changed my life. Wilco, My Morning Jacket, top 3. Who's your favorite band, Danny?
Right. So I started learning how to play guitar last year. So I'm very into Chris Stapleton, Eric Church, a lot of country stuff.
Tyler, Zach Bryan?
Zach Bryan, yeah, Luke Bryan. I mean, I love all the country guys.
Good. So here's my music is my passion.
But then, Chad, I also play a lot of old school stuff like CCR and some other things like that.
I love it. Okay. So I'm passionate about music. So find something you're passionate about. Let's say it's ballet. Let's say it's whatever. When Dave Matthews comes to town, I don't buy 2 tickets. I buy 10. And then I get on the phones and I call 100 clients to get 10 people to go. Here's the call, Danny. You be Danny, I'll be Chad. All right. Danny, how's it going, brother?
Hey, what's up, Chad? Good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. How's life? How's the kids? How's the dog? How's the... Hey, buddy, I got 2 extra tickets for Dave Matthews tomorrow night. I thought you and Julie would want to come. And, are you guys available? Oh, you got the kids? Damn. Well, don't worry about it, bro. I'll keep you in mind for the next one. And how's the house?
Yeah, house is good. No, actually, house we need something a little more modern. Thinking about starting to look.
Amazing. I can't wait to help you. Anyway, I make 100 calls, Danny. 90 people say no. The impact is the same.
Right.
I'm calling them to offer them something. The 90 people that don't come, that still got the call from me, have Chad Goldwasser, real estate, amazing guy in their mind. The 10 people that come have a blast, and I am brainwashing people, okay? I'm cleansing their brain of every other real estate agent on the planet and implementing my name. When you walk down the hall of your office and you hear the word, this is what I say to my clients. When you're walking down the hall of your office and you hear the word home, I want you to grab them and say, Chad Goldwasser. Like, that's how much I want to occupy the space in people's brains. And if you're in Austin, Texas, and someone says to you, do you know Chad Goldwasser? And they do, what do you think they say, Danny?
Real estate.
The real estate guy.
Mm-hmm.
So take that mentality. I call it the blitzkrieg marketing. I hit them from land, sea, and air. If you don't know what a blitzkrieg is, that's a World War I reference. That's when they hit from land, sea, and air. I hit them from the phones. I hit them in text. I hit them on social. I hit them all over so they cannot not remember that I'm in real estate.
Chad, I mean, you've given so much value and so much great advice here. I think it's just up to agents to actually execute, which kind of brings me to the next question. You talked about coaching, which I think every agent should have a coach or someone they're working with that's going to hold them accountable, because it's really hard to hold yourself accountable, I've learned in my time. So do you do any coaching outside of your organization at EXP for folks that may want that?
Oh God, yes. If you want to reach me,
you like my leading question there? It's my former attorney in me.
You're an attorney?
Yeah, just for a couple
Oh my
years.
God. How was it being broke? Just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Mentally, physically, and spiritually.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, it definitely wasn't for me.
Yeah. No, I do group coaching. I do one-on-one coaching. That is a large investment. That's for people that really, really, really want to grow. And I do group coaching. I also have online video courses. I also have a coaching channel. Here's the thing I'll say about coaching. When I was 27, it would have been 29. 2004, 7 years in the business. I did 40 million in sales. I was down at a guy named Howard Brinton, one of the greatest real estate trainers of all time. Mm-hmm. First of all, educate yourself out there. Subscribe to Danny's channel. Listen, understand, spread the word, learn. Like I wake up this weekend. I was on a 16-hour, 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday, a AI mastermind masterclass. I am going deep in learning how to utilize AI. I never stop learning. If I can give you the greatest thing that I can give you in this podcast, everyone out there, personal growth, make it your daily goal to grow as a human being. 2004, I'm at this event. I'm learning from Howard Brinton. And it's sponsored by Bob Corcoran. And I sat down with him. I said, I want to get to 100 million. I want to be one of the top 50 agents on the planet in the next 10 years. I'd written it in 2004. I wrote a life plan. I'll show it to you sometime, Danny. Mm-hmm. I wrote, I want to be one of the top 50 agents within the next 10 years on the planet. Hired Bob. Bob goes, Chad, it's $17,000 to hire me. You're going to pay me 17 grand and I'm going to come in for 4 days. We're going to rip apart everything. Smoker. Amazing guy. And then it's going to be $1,500 a month. And I'm like, holy shit. I hired him. We ripped apart every system that I had, everything, down to the most minute thing. And we rebuilt it. The next year, 2005, I did 40 million in 2004. 2005, 43 million. 2006, 85 million. 2007, 125 million. 543 deals. Number one in the world for KW. 3 years, number 42 on the planet in the entire industry. So I had a 10-year goal that we accomplished in 3 years. Get into coaching. You can listen to this podcast. I give away the secrets. I sell the accountability because most people are not like you or I, Danny, and even I need accountability. But we need to be held accountable. I need to wake up every day and remember the little actions I will take in that day to reach my dream of speaking and teaching globally. And one of those was to be on your podcast today. So thank you.
Chad, I mean, unbelievable. By the way, you said something that I'm going to put in my notes, but you give away, say that one more time. You give away the free stuff?
So you give away the secrets. You sell the accountability. In this day and age, nobody probably can deliver. Here's what you have, Danny, that nobody else has. Your story. Nobody has my story. Nobody may have my passion and energy. That is unique to my brand. Anybody can learn how to do anything. And so I give away everything. I remember my brother in 2005, I was headed to KW. I just moved there. And I was speaking to about 200 agents. I was given a class called How to Sell 100 Homes in a Year. And my brother goes, dude, so you're going to go speak and teach and tell these people how to do 100 deals. You're going to give away your secrets. They're your competitors. Is that smart? I said, dude, 99% of them are not willing to do what I do. They will not do it. They won't wake up at 4:30 a.m. They won't condition their mind every day. They won't go out and look at 20 homes on a Friday before their open house. They won't contact 50 of their clients a week. They won't do it. And so You give away the secrets, you sell the accountability, you help people to be accountable to the goals that they set. I'm pretty accountable to myself, but I still have coaches. I still have mentors. Now, as I enter the speaking realm, and I have a goal to positively impact people around the globe. I used to say millions of people, and I think that will happen, but I took the number off it because that got me into trouble. I don't care if it's millions of people, if I made an impact on you today, Danny. And I'm going to end with this. Really, I want to share with you the importance of this idea. I dedicated my life to changing the way I thought. I shifted the way I looked at myself and the world around me. I put everything every day into creating positivity and energy. I wake up every day with what I call a wake-up thought, and it's this. It's an awesome day. I'll positively impact everyone I touch. I've been saying that to myself for 25 years every morning. And I lost my way, and there was a point in 2018 where I really thought I would never accomplish my dreams and goals. And I put that number, millions of people, and I'm in my car, and I get an email from a 20 and 18-year-old kid named Aiden Goldwasser, my son. And I thought I was an inadequate father. I didn't think I was a great father. And I never sat my kids down and said, guys, you got to be positive. You got to do this. I never sat them down and did that. I did tell them as I walked out the door every morning, be a leader, encourage others, love people, and smile. And I get an email from Aiden Goldwasser, 18 years old, and he says, Dad, I think it was called College Essay. He said, Dad, I wrote this college essay for UT. I thought you should read it. And I open up this thing and it says, how do you feel you will impact the University of Texas, both inside and outside of the classroom? And his answer, I have infectious positive energy. For years, I have watched my father influence and impact the people around him with his energy and attitude. He has always told us about the benefit of optimism, not only for that of the individual, but for that of the community. And by this time, I'm bawling. And I realized who we become and who I become and how I am may not be me. The ripple effect that this type of thinking can have can raise the frequency of energy on this planet with one person at a time. And, so who you are and who you become makes a difference. And, if you want any more information, follow me on Instagram. Invite me to speak at your conference. I love speaking and teaching. That's where I find my most electricity comes from. You can follow me on Instagram. You can DM us. You can order my book online, Restart, 7 Proven Keys to Unlock Your Potential. That was my second book. It's available on Amazon. Also, Some Assembly Required, a networking guide for real estate, where I teach about the systems and things. And if you want to be part of our online courses or any of that stuff, just DM me or call me at 512-750-8333. And if you have anyone that needs to buy a home in Austin, Texas, call me and I'll make sure they get taken amazing care of.
Chad, we'll have all those links down in the description here of the video. And I will tell you that if nothing else, which there's a lot else, but you've had a huge impact on me just listening to this today and the story and your infectious positivity and, so many notes that I've kind of mentally taken. When I rewatch it, I'll take more. But this has been unbelievable. Don't tell my other guests, but this is one of the most impactful interviews that I've ever done. I really, really appreciate it.